Hi everyone, I just want to quickly thank you for all coming on to this webinar with me. And my name is Maren Epstein and I'm here to present to you how to heal your digestive system naturally, even if you've tried almost everything and nothing has worked for you. And this is my favorite part, but how healing the digestive system can actually eliminate stubborn chronic illnesses and symptoms. So this is my promise to you over the next 45 minutes. I promise to show you that the digestive discomfort and disease are the cause of most modern day illnesses, and how to vastly improve your digestive system so that your immune system can go to work to radically heal your body of seemingly unrelated symptoms and illnesses. And we're going to go over more of those in just a sec. So I want to make sure you are all in the right place. I don't want to waste any of your time. All of our time is very valuable these days. So this is who this is for. And if this isn't you, feel free to click off now. Anyone who suffers from any type of bowel disease, such as IBS or constipation, chronic pain and inflammation anywhere in the body, frequent headaches and migraines, that's actually something that brought me to this work, feeling sick after eating, that's a very common one, thyroid disorders, diabetes or heart disease, constant and painful gas, chronic pain, autoimmune disorders, or other seemingly unrelated symptoms. And now this slide might seem a little bit redundant, but I really want to drive home this point. So here are a list of some common illnesses caused by digestive disorders. And the list is long, but here's a few. Eczema, dry skin, adult acne, general skin disorders, and migraine headaches, we went over that already. Sluggish metabolism, you know who you are, those of you who eat a caloric restrictive diet and yet can't lose any weight, or you always feel like you have a spare tire around your stomach. Slow healing from wounds and surgery. You know, if you go to the doctor after having an accident or having surgery and you're just not healing on time and they're concerned, you would fall under this category. Any young women with infertility, PMDD, PMS, PCOS. I myself had PMDD. GERD, so that's acid reflux. Those of you who get constant heartburn after eating. Premature aging, huge issue in this country now. I mean, every time I turn on the television, there's just like, first there's an ad for McDonald's and then there's an ad for Botox. So this is something that a lot of us are really struggling with. Chronic muscle pain and fatigue, you know, taking a long time to recover after a workout, or just waking up in pain and really not having a good reason why, other than saying, oh, I'm getting older. Anxiety, aggression, or irritation. Listen, we all have a wide range of emotions, but if you are easily set off by things that shouldn't set you off or that used to not set you off, that's also a really big sign of an acidic gut, candida, and other things. Loose skin from previous weight loss, that means that the skin is not regenerating, so it can't snap back. Actually, I've never had a client who's lost weight who's had any excess skin, even those who've lost over 100 pounds. Gout, that one's kind of self-explanatory. Type 2 diabetes, autoimmune disorders. Now this one's quite controversial because doctors don't really technically know what causes autoimmune disorders, but we'll get more into that later. Here's some examples of autoimmune: fibromyalgia, commonly known to be caused by candida, which starts in the digestive system, thyroid disorders, and more. So if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you a gift because I know it's hard to sit through these things. But not only will you learn about how to start feeling better, but I'll give you an ebook that will show you how to apply the knowledge you're about to learn here to your daily life so that you can start healing now. So you're going to get tangible material that you can actually apply to your life. I mean, just this one guide alone, when I first released it, I can't tell you how many emails I got about people who, just off of this one thing, had great results. So what makes this different? I'm sure everybody says this, but no silver bullet pills or supplements. I don't really believe in supplements. And there's no fads here, no drastic diets that are unmanageable. This program has worked for people whose doctors couldn't even help. I mean, doctors actually send me clients. Gets to the root of the problem instead of hiding the symptoms. We'll get more into that later. And it's simply an educational system that I believe is right for everybody. It's actually our birthright. We should know how to heal ourselves of illness by utilizing our own abilities and immune system. So the master formula to utilizing the body's natural healing process, which I believe can help any disorder that did not begin in utero. I know it's a very radical statement, but I've really seen some miracles happen, and I'm going to show some of them to you. So here's a testimonial of one of my favorite clients. This is Paulette Graff. She's a social worker and a meditation teacher. She's even been featured in the New York Times. She's approaching 80 years old. I think her quote says it all. The long and the short of it is that Marin's treatments most likely either saved my life or prevented me from some kind of surgery. And what I think the real success here is that Paulette is a senior citizen, but is still living on her own quite successfully in New York City, teaches classes in New York City and Brooklyn, and lives completely independently, free of many drugs, free of a walker, free of canes. She's a fully mobile person, well into her older years, and she's just looking great and feeling awesome, and I love her. Here's another really good one, and this is a male. Ken is a pastor and a psychologist. I don't really think I know anybody who works more than this man. He works seeing maybe 40 to 50 patients a week in his practice, and then spends his weekends volunteering as a pastor for the urban poor. When I met him, his doctor had warned him that his liver and heart health were declining. So his doctor wanted him to go on cholesterol medication as a precaution, as doctors do with most men over 50. He was 20 pounds heavier than he wanted to be. But after 3 months of working together, he lost 15 pounds. And after returning to his doctor, he discovered that his blood work had corrected himself. His cholesterol came back as low, his blood pressure went down, and his liver had regenerated and recovered. His AST and ALT test levels returned to normal, or even lower than normal, when they were previously elevated. Also, his thirst for life and career became even more positive, and his health shift impacted his spirituality in a very positive way, because he had more energy to connect to other people. Here's another one of my favorites, Linda Lopez. Linda is such an amazing woman. She works really hard and has a very busy life. She lives in New York City. She's a yoga instructor and she works in marketing. And she's also a Reiki healer now. But you can read her testimonial here if you like, but I'm just going to highlight the best part of it. But here we can say that she said that she can honestly say that the program had changed my life. It's one thing to be healthy, but a completely another thing to know how to be healthy, why you should be healthy, and the best practices to ultimately help you around living your best life. I walked away with so much more consciousness around my body, have a deeper understanding of the digestive system, the colon, and I have materials and tools that I can always turn to and reference. Ultimately, I have lost weight, my skin is glowing, and my yoga practice is greatly improved. Just look at her. She looks great. So, and if any of you are in New York, she's still practicing. You can take classes with her. Okay, so here's some rules before we begin and getting into the nitty-gritty of the information. Obviously, I'm just talking to a big group of you, so this is not a consultation. It's not a substitute for personal advice from a medical professional, and because we live in America, nothing is a guarantee. So I really want this to be about you and knowledge, focused around information, but quickly I'm just going to tell you who I am and why I'm in a good position to give this information to you. I'm a certified colon hydrotherapist and nutritionist. I've helped hundreds of clients in my brick and mortar practice in New York and New Jersey and my online practice. I've been named the Detox Guru by the New York Times. I'm a certified health supportive chef educated at the Natural Gourmet Institute, and I healed myself of chronic digestive issues, autoimmune disease, migraines, and reproductive disorder, anxiety and depression, and an eating disorder. This is a little bit more about my journey. When I first got to college, I had migraine headaches that resembled seizures up to 4 times a week. Upon getting tested by about 12 neurologists, all they could find were unexplained spots in the gray matter of my brain. From pretty much my whole life, I suffered from chronic constipation and IBS. I maybe went to the bathroom once a week. I couldn't even wear jeans. I wore sweatpants and leggings every day and big baggy sweatpants and sweatshirts. I had very painful and irregular periods, which was diagnosed as PMDD. I often missed school and work due to these periods. And as a result, I had depression, and eventually, because I felt so sick, every food I ate made me feel worse. I had developed a fear around eating and developed a pretty extensive eating disorder that lasted for about maybe 10 years or so. And this is how I healed. So let's get positive. I finally started questioning what I thought I knew about conventional medical wisdom, because I was raised by, standard American Western parents and was taught when you're sick, you go to the doctor, you take a pill, you get better. But I started re-educating myself about practical nutrition and healthcare for self-healing. I had wonderful help from amazing mentors. I followed their advice even when I didn't want to, because my eating disorder really didn't want to eat anything. I had to force myself. And the truth is, consistency was key. I mean, I never gave up. And I stopped listening to both doctors, friends, and family who said that I was crazy and that it was all in my head. I'm not special. I don't have more willpower than other people, which is what people today tell me. The truth is, I was just so miserable. I had no choice other than to move forward, because the way I was living made life feel like it wasn't even worth it. And here, it's embarrassing, but there's a before and after picture of me. That was my before. Obviously, I think that was my freshman year of college when I was sick but had not started my healing journey yet. And fast forward to that picture, that was in my late 20s, like now, after I'm going through a long journey and then opening a practice. So about a 10-year difference in between those two photos. Going through this health journey, through trial and error, searching for the right mentors and practitioners, through researching different health solutions and trying to figure out what was wrong, I discovered two big things. And this is a very important slide, and I really want you to pay attention here. You could even take a picture of this. Constipation is the cause of most modern disease. That's number one. Number two, listen closely. If you go to the bathroom less times per day than you eat, you are constipated. Here's one of my favorite quotes by a great model of this, a great role model for me. There is one disease, constipation. Knowing the ways of keeping the bowel healthy is the best way I know to keep the gripe of disease and sickness away. Bernard Jensen. Who is Dr. Bernard Jensen, for your information? Dr. Bernard Jensen was a pioneer of the natural health care and treated over 300,000 patients. He noted bowel health was at the root of most of his patients' problems. In the 70 years I spent helping people overcome illness, disability, and disease, it became crystal clear that poor bowel management lay at the root of most people's health problems. Another one of my favorite quotes by Jensen. And, this is also in the early 1900s, 1920, 1930, when people's diets weren't even as bad, when the food wasn't even as toxic. So these problems have just unfortunately exacerbated further and further and further. Dr. Kellogg is another example of a practitioner like Jensen. So an interesting guy to look into. And after doing this for years, I've also discovered certain things about doctors. I don't dislike doctors, but doctors specialize in sick care, not health care, and rely on the use of drugs and surgery because that's what they were trained. Naturopaths utilize many supplements that are incredibly expensive and don't always work. Integrative MDs and NDs are expensive and are rarely covered by medical insurance. I know many of my own personal clients who've spent up to $20,000 to go to one of these highly trained doctors. And lasting health cannot be found in a pill, natural or not. Most programs and diets just don't work. But when you get away from all these falsehoods, you'll finally be able to self-heal instead of just masking the symptoms. Because the truth is, it's really not about what you're eating or not eating. It's about releasing waste from the body so that the body can regenerate itself from within. We are perfect healing machines. I'm jumping ahead here. We'll get to this information, so let's just keep going. Most people who get sick, this is obvious, either get better on their own, they go to a doctor, get drugs to mask the symptoms or regulate the symptoms to force the body to function in a certain way. like birth control, cholesterol medication, thyroid medication, Synthroid, blood pressure pills. Maybe they get surgeries. All of these methods have side effects, further damage to the body, rarely cure or heal, but just mask the symptoms or kind of patch a hole so that you can keep going for another couple of years before you have to readjust. And if you're here, you're probably in the orange box. There's also illnesses when you go to the doctor, they cannot figure out what is wrong with you. And that may be why you're watching this right now, searching for answers. And that's the gray area of autoimmune disease and digestive disorders that I have. Instead of struggling on your own for years, you get to cheat, because I've created a step-by-step system that's worked for almost anyone because it is easy to follow, and I'm there to guide you every step of the way. And what's great is you become a part of a community of others who are healing in the same way to support you. Some people see results within a matter of weeks, which is always really fun for me, like Hazel Carlin. Others can take up to a year, like myself, because I had a lot of deep-rooted issues. I will show you some more case studies from my practice where people have radically transformed their health as we go along, as inspiration for you. So the next part of the presentation is really information intensive. So over the next few slides, I am going to highlight secrets, quote unquote, that have probably been holding you back around your health and your mindset around your health. And then I'm going to go over shifts, which are going to show you how to use this information as power to help you start feeling better today. And because there's a lot of information, I've had to put 3 secrets into one slide. So here we go. Secret number 1. Most pills and supplements and doctors aren't able to help you permanently fix your health issues, but instead just manage the symptoms. You can recover your health without massive expenses, drastic lifestyle changes, or copious amounts of exercise. The secret to healing is in the combination of foods, removing foods that may be causing illness and removing waste from the body instead of adding to it so that we can self-heal. Secret number 3 is the big ticket secret. That is really the driving force behind the work I've been doing for the last 10 years and the work of many other very good practitioners who are working in this way under the radar of the mainstream health community. So, into detail, secret number 1 again, most pills, supplements, and doctors aren't able to help you permanently fix your health issues, but instead just manage the symptoms. And it's not a secret, doctors know that. It's important to exercise preventative care. Again, doctors specialize in sick care, not health care. And you can't rely on your doctor to provide you with proper nutritional advice. Their time is just too expensive. Their cost to see each patient and number of patients they must see are all severely limiting their time. And it's just not their job. The job of a doctor is to manage symptoms and patch holes. They must utilize their time to alleviate symptoms in the quickest way possible, which is not always the healthiest. And the average doctor pays enough in malpractice insurance to cover a full-time salary. They must work hard to pay this off. This country has unfortunately made it very hard for doctors to do their job. They simply were not educated in nutrition. Their education is based on how the body maintains homeostasis and how to correct it quickly when it goes wrong through their use of drugs and surgery to save people's lives. So if you get hit by a bus, you definitely want to go to a doctor, not a nutritionist. If you want to get rid of your heart disease, you should see a nutritionist who knows a lot about cleansing. So instead of treating the cause, treat the problem. I mean, this is kind of redundant, but find the cause of the problem, resolve it, and then you can begin to heal. Here's just an example. If you have heartburn, a pill hides it by neutralizing the acid. You know, people who eat a big greasy steak or cheeseburger and then they take Tums. So the heartburn won't go away until you stop the cause of it, which is the clogged transverse colon, which is the part of the colon that runs horizontally from one rib to the other, which when gets filled with waste creates a reverse pressure upon the stomach, which causes a lapping up of acid into the stomach and esophagus, which irritates the wall of the esophagus, causes coughing and pressure, which is a reverse pressure. And it just keeps coming back, and neutralizing the food with Tums, all that's going to do is simply keep your food from digesting, because you're literally neutralizing the acid that your body needs to break it down. So It's going to increase indigestion and lead to food rotting in the intestine and causing gas. And we're going to get into more of these issues as we go along. Secret number 2. You can recover your health without expensive or outrageous lifestyle changes. I did most of this work while I was in college. The most expensive thing I did was colonics, and that, I think 10 years of colonics cost me less money than my copay did when I had a baby. And I was only in that hospital for 2 days. Shift 2. When you stop clogging your body with poisonous waste, your system will begin to eliminate your symptoms and repair itself. This is because most illness is caused by auto-intoxication from waste accumulation. This might sound crazy, but just stick with me here. So stop poisoning yourself with foods and medicines that you were taught to believe were healthy. Here's information about food. We've all been taught that certain foods are healthy by societal beliefs, and the media has led us down the road of disease. Not all health food is healthy. Not all bad foods are bad. Foods and diet is not a black and white issue. The context in which the food is consumed is what makes it healthy or not. It really depends on the individual. What's healthy for one person is not healthy for another. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, so for me, eating, cow cheese would not be good for my health, but for somebody who's just starting and has been eating a mostly processed food, having some fresh mozzarella might be a really big improvement for them. So let's think about these things, and in terms of yourself. I mean, who is eating this food? What ailments does this person have? How has it been prepared? Really, success lies in the context in which food is eaten, not what is eaten, thinking of food combining. For example, foods can cause different reactions in different people. We have to determine what makes us healthy as an individual based on what is going on bioorganically within our system. Eating more of a superfood will not necessarily make us healthier. A nutrient-dense food is only as good as the intestine it's going into. If the body is clogged and it cannot absorb these nutrients, what's the point of having the superfood? Furthermore, superfoods are foods that are grown in certain areas of the world. Without modern technology, we would not have access to these foods. We were all designed to be able to eat off of the land that we live on. So that means that eating regular foods that come from the earth are more than enough to keep us healthy. Here are some more examples of foods. Soy. Too much of it can lead to chronic inflammation and mucus, which aggravates the intestine. A lot of vegans and vegetarians have started replacing their animal products with soy products because the Japanese who eat soy have some of the longest lifespan. Most centenarians live in Japan. But the truth is they only eat very small amounts of soy. Their diet is predominantly vegetables and seafood. Soy is actually more mucus forming than meat and estrogen forming, so it's a really big problem for women, men, and anybody who has chronic constipation or inflammation in their body. Meat, we've been led to believe that meat is the holy grail to health, paleo diet, or that it's terrible and should be avoided altogether. The truth is that meat stimulates testosterone production, which makes us feel better. That's why when you eat chicken, you feel full and you feel good. But then also meat rots in the intestine, clogs us, causes putrefaction in an acidic environment, which leads to an aggravated bowel disease. You don't have to be vegan, but we eat way too much meat too often, and the quality is too low. When you're paying for meat, you should really get the best quality you can, and it's not that you're paying for what you're getting, you're really paying for what you're not getting. Not getting hormones, not getting bacteria, fecal contamination, etc. Dairy, nuts, unsoaked, healthy nut bars, health juices such as the naked juices that are pasteurized are actually not at all healthy. Basically, let's get into a bit about nuts. So the nut, to eat a nut, you'd have to actually, in nature, have to go and eat the entire fruit, because there is one nut in one fruit, or a couple of seeds in a fruit. So it's really unnatural that we have boiled fruits down to release the nuts and then consume handfuls of them in any given sitting or in the form of bars. Most nuts that have been unpasteurized or unsoaked, not pasteurized, unsoaked or sprouted, are actually not indigestible, and that's the nature of a nut, because nuts are seeds and plants grow from seeds. In nature, an animal would eat a fruit, um, walk away from where the fruit has fallen, poop it out with the seed still intact because it's covered in digestive inhibitors that keep it from being broken down by the body. And then once it rains and the water soaks the nut, it sprouts it, and that's when the natural live enzymes of the seed wake up and the plant grows. That's literally how plants proliferate around the world. Animals can poop them out just fine because they're not constipated, but we are, and we're also eating them in much bigger quantities than we should. And any health juice that's been pasteurized is no longer beneficial because the true benefit of a juice lies in the live enzymes and vitamins in that juice. But once they're pasteurized, the vitamins and enzymes have been neutralized, and all that's really left is the sugar content. So when you drink any of these juices, they're always sweet, and you're really just getting a ton of sugar, which we all know that sugar in large quantities is not healthy. So all of these foods slow down our digestion. This means that the food is sitting in our intestines longer than it's supposed to. Since the gut is a hot, wet environment, it's the perfect environment for bacteria to form. The food festers and putrefies, and as a result, it gives off gas and feeds bacteria. This gas acts as a block in the intestine by filling the intestine and creating an internal pressure, kind of like a balloon. If you've ever touched a balloon, which we all have, it's hard on the outside, even though there's nothing in it but air. And that's because air naturally wants to escape. So it pushes on the walls of wherever it is, including the wall of the balloon, and creates a lot of pressure. So then the balloon has to tighten around that air to hold its shape. That's why balloons eventually wear out and get soft or pop. Same as the colon, kind of related to the diverticulitis. It causes more constipation than just waste alone. So the presence of gas creates an internal pressure that we just talked about in the body, which leads to both internal and cosmetic problems. Some of them are bloat, excess weight, an acidification of the body, which then feeds more parasites, bad bacteria, and fungus. As the gas is emanated and the putrefactive waste festers and breeds more bacteria, the bacteria also gives off gas in the form of endotoxins. These endotoxins permeate the walls of the gut and get into the bloodstream, also known as leaky gut disorder. So the colon is just becoming more and more full, atonic. Since the colon runs out of room and is under pressure, the body then takes some of this waste and stores it in various cells in the body, which eventually causes illness. I mean, if you think about it, the colon is the village dump. All the cells are constantly trying to eliminate their waste via the bloodstream. So the bloodstream is always taking nutrients and oxygen to the cells and waste products and CO2 away from the cell to be processed by our eliminative organs, the colon being one of the biggest ones, the skin being the second most important, although the skin is the largest. And what happens is when the colon is full, this waste doesn't have anywhere to go, so it ends up just accumulating in the fat vacuoles of the cells, and tumors and excess waste is kind of collected around the body. And if the cells run out of room, it starts going to other places, such as in the veins. I mean, that's what plaque in the arteries are. So atherosclerosis, heart disease, and other issues are really just caused by the colon being very clogged. Secret number 3. The secret to healing is in the combinations of food we eat, removing foods that may be causing illness, and removing the waste that the food is causing from the body instead of eating in a way that is adding to it. Here's a shift. By simply changing the order in which you eat your foods, you can drastically decrease the transit time in the gut and therefore decrease putrefaction and gas, which will help heal your digestive issues. The body is a self-healing machine, so I'm going to explain to you how this shift works. Our detox organs are constantly working to heal damage to our body, to regenerate new tissues and turn over dead cells and cleanse the blood. In fact, side note, 1/3 of the waste in our colon is dead cells that our body must poop out, not just what we're eating. So by empowering these abilities that we all have, healing can begin to take place. And what's great is you don't even have to think about it. It's automatic, just like breathing. The colon, skin, kidneys, lymph, and lungs are main detox organs, and they're constantly working to help us heal. For example, The only reason we can get up every day is because when we sleep, our kidneys work to detox our blood so that we can function. That's why people with bad kidneys need dialysis or else they pass away. So, really, our body's ability to stay alive is completely based on its ability to detoxify and regenerate itself, which exactly is what I want to teach you to optimize. What you don't eat is just as, if not more, important than what you do eat. Intelligent fasting. So, here's a little more information. We have a put our inner mentality around food. We say, what can I put into my body to make it better? This is the question most people ask themselves. But we should be asking ourselves, what can we take out of our bodies so that they can be clean and function optimally from within? Like Michelangelo's David, originally he had nothing but a chunk of marble until he chipped away at it and polished it to create the iconic sculpture recognized around the world today. That's a great example. By utilizing digestive rest, we are allowing our body to go into self-healing mode. Think about it. When an animal is hurt, it doesn't eat. When a child is sick, they don't want to eat. It's because they inherently know that eating is going to add to the amount of work that the body has to do, and they need to focus not on digesting foods, but working on healing themselves and turning over new cells. We do this by implementing intelligent fasting techniques that ignite moderate and gentle healing. That's why we get the benefit of fasting without any psychological and physiological stress commonly associated with fasting. Here's just a quote by Anne-Marie Colbin on the practice of fasting. The practice of fasting tactically acknowledges the fact that ours is a self-healing organism. Healing occurs naturally if it is allowed. Improper or excessive food simply thwarts the natural ongoing healing process. She was the founder of the school that I went to for culinary school in Manhattan. The cause and solution for most digestive disorders. 1. Most people have digestive disorders because they are eating foods too often and in poor combinations. 2. By streamlining our meals and introducing practices such as juicing and proper food combining, we can ultimately decrease the transit process. 3. Which will internally alleviate constipation and simultaneously trigger our immune system to begin the healing process. This is the big ticket, this slide right here. And you don't have to be a slave to your genetics. I'm hoping that this frees you. Negative genes become triggered by lifestyle choices and stress. By properly optimizing your diet and allowing your body to heal the gut, you can successfully reset your genetically predisposed ailments, including certain aging processes that you might have associated with just aging in your family, like type 2 diabetes or heart disease or elevated cholesterol or swelling of the joints, rheumatoid arthritis, and back pain. And here's my reference. Is there hope for you? Absolutely. So let's take another quick look at some more of my clients that have proven over and over again that this process works, regardless of age and genetics. I'm happy to report that they are feeling healthy, vibrant, and in control of their health. You deserve that experience as well. We all do. It is our birthright to live in a clean, healthy body so that we can enjoy the world and contribute to society with our own gifts and experience. It's hard to be all you can be when you're sick and struggling. I would know. So here's one of my more recent clients who I worked with this year, Amy Bannock. She's a real good friend of mine. I really enjoyed working with her. Her testimonial is a little long. I think I'll highlight parts of it for you. But I think the funniest part is where she says, "Thanks for changing my life. Thanks for becoming my friend. You have the power to help so many others. I pray that they get the opportunity to work with you." And the best part, even my skeptic husband has admitted it was money worth spending. So when I first got on the phone with Amy, I felt terrible. She was crying about her health situation. She was so afraid of aging and so unhappy with where she was. And I felt almost awkward saying, "I know you're not in a good place, but I know I can help you," because she was in such a desperate place. I didn't want her to feel that I was just trying to take advantage of her, because I really wasn't. And I mean, I was so lucky to get to work with her, and she signed up, and I think she sums up her experience in her own words so well. So I'm going to read some of it to you. She was trying for a long time to heal myself what I believed was autoimmune symptoms. I was hypothyroid and suffered from fatigue, brain fog, and osteoarthritis. I had hip replacement surgery in my 40s, was having horrible side effects from thyroid meds, and did not know where to turn. I woke up every morning feeling like Frankenstein. Like I didn't know who this stiff, achy person was or how I was ever going to get me back. I made many attempts in dietary changes and added lots of supplements, but still did not feel good. Then came along a Facebook post from Erin. Out of sheer desperation, I set up for my first free consultation. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. Marin cut through all the misinformation out there. She clearly explained her program and trained me on proper food combining, the importance of elimination, eating light to heavy, and the benefits of whole, clean, fresh, raw food. In 9 weeks, I dropped over 30 pounds. I didn't even know she lost that weight. That's awesome. Released lots of information, had more energy, clear skin, and was sleeping like a baby. Words cannot describe the profound changes. I went from hopeless and discouraged and believing I could be healthy again. To be clear, I was highly motivated and finally had the right tools for success. Every once in a while, I'd slip off my new way of eating, but the beautiful thing is, I knew exactly what to do to get back on track. This is not a quick fix diet, it's a sustainable way of life. Marin stuck with me and tailored the program just for me. She met me where I was at and coached me to where I wanted to be. Many of her delicious recipes are still staple in my day-to-day. She taught me a new way to eat and so much more. So if you're on the fence about reaching out to her, go for it. Blah, blah, blah. This is all her recommending me. I appreciate that, but I'm not going to bore you with it. Thank you, Amy, for letting me use this. And here's Lenny. Lenny might have been the easiest client I ever had. And here's his testimonial. I'll just give you the highlights. If you want to consider Marin for this kind of help, I can make an A+ recommendation with ease to you after Marin has educated me to look at food differently and the different effects food has on me. With my newfound knowledge, your guidance, my life has changed. I feel fantastic and never thank you enough. So Lenny, I don't have a photo of him. I should ask for one. He was 50 years old, never had any health issues, was heavily into weightlifting, was a bodybuilder, owned multiple businesses, and had a few kids. So he was a really busy guy, and he generally ate out most of the time because he was a new bachelor. So, he was going to his chiropractor for back pain, injury from lifting weights. And no matter what, this back pain didn't go away. And the chiropractor was actually his brother-in-law, or ex-brother-in-law. So he recommended Isagenix to him and high-protein foods. So he was eating a very high-protein diet, and although he was very strong and thin in most of his body, he weighed over 200 pounds and had a huge gut. And I explained to him that this gut was putting pressure on his lower back, causing his issues, and also that having all of that waste in the intestine leads to heart disease. And so, he's lucky to have experienced good help up until this point, but it would really be beneficial to just hedge his bets now and move in the right direction. Just after literally 2 meetings, Lenny was on the right path. He started dropping weight, and the spare tire slowly went away. His back pain went away, and he went back to the gym. He went back to himself. He was so successful that I would call him and try to coach him more, but he would just tell me that he's feeling amazing and he's happy with where he is, and if he needed me, he'd reach out. He was literally the most low-maintenance client I've ever had. Here's another testimonial of Leslie. Leslie is a client I had a long time ago and is still a client. She really enjoyed the 6-week program, which is actually longer than 6 weeks. But I would say, from my point of view, you could read her story here. Leslie always struggled with some excess weight. She had constipation issues for her whole life, some skin issues, and she really was kind of confused because she ate very well. She was vegan. She practiced yoga and meditation. She worked from home and was able to cook her own foods. She really, on paper, was living a healthy lifestyle, but she still just couldn't crack the code. But after the program, I completely re-educated her. In fact, she was sad when it was over, and so was I, because I didn't love talking to her. But her results included better digestion, decreased bloating, and her skin problems went away. She loved the recipes, and she's a very good cook herself, and she was excited to move forward with more confidence about her food choices. And truth is, I haven't heard her complain about her colon since. She's been doing great, and look at her skin, looks great. In the past hour or less, I hope you've learned a lot, enough to shift your perspective on your own life situation. It is time for you to place yourself in the driver's seat of your own future. I've been talking to you for a while now, and yet I still cannot cover everything you need to know in just an hour presentation. So if you'll allow me, I would like to make you an offer for my program that my clients have gone through. And if you are excited and ready to join today, I'm going to give you a very special deal and bonus. I like to work with people who are committed to making change and are willing to do what it takes to make it happen. And the reason why I'm offering you these bonuses is because after being on the phone with clients over the last year and a half, the only thing stopping them from doing this course was monetary. And, some people I've given scholarships to, other people have found the money, but I also felt bad taking the money, but I realized that people do need to commit to something energetically and have some skin in the game to actually get the results. So for those of you guys out there who couldn't do my program before, please pay attention now. I'm going to go through the program and then talk about the bonuses I'm offering and the discounts. Old habits are hard to break. You've probably seen presentations like this in the past. You get excited, fired up, and what happens the next day? Probably nothing. Kind of like the whole Tony Robbins thing. It gets you really going, but then you kind of fall off the wagon. And it's sad to me because I just spent an hour showing you how myself and many others have healed their digestive systems naturally, overcome premature aging, weight gain, etc. If you're going to be home tomorrow and do nothing different, the reason for that is because old habits are just hard to break, or you're afraid of taking a step and doing something new. So unless you do something right here and right now, you'll go back to your kitchen after this presentation and continue to poison your cells. The only way you're going to be successful is if we figure out a way to break that habit right now. And the way we're going to break that habit is by investing in yourself. Then I can work closely with you and give you all the tools and knowledge that you need to break the habits so you can become successful. Everything I showed you in the last hour will be completely useless to you because you'll skip back into your old habits. The only way to break that habit is to invest in yourself right now and make that change. Take that dive. How would you feel if you could reduce chronic aches and pains, get rid of embarrassing irritable bowel syndrome and other digestive symptoms, feel excited about food again, not just look forward to eating and nourishing your body like you did when you were a child? Release the fear you have had around food for years because you didn't understand how it made you feel or whether you'd gain weight or not. I had that fear for years. Realize that food is not your enemy. That time is also not your enemy. The aging process that most first world people experience is not a natural aging process. It's a slow death process that comes from lifestyle-induced illnesses. I call them modern day illnesses: heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, to name a few. To have the stamina to get through your day and still have energy to exercise if you choose to. I mean, every day I wake up around 7, take care of my child, I work, I ride horses competitively, and then once she goes to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock, I go to the gym and do a 1 to 2 hour workout. I used to never have that kind of energy before. Know exactly how to give your body a chance to finally repair itself. Imagine how that would make you feel. So, I'd like to introduce my Eating Works program to you, right here and right now, which I've actually never done before. I've only ever discussed it with those on the phone who have gone through a screening process, booked calls with me, and who I even thought would be a good fit. So I'm taking a dive right here, and this is for all of you guys who want to do this program but just weren't able to before. So every week for 6 weeks, we go through different modules, and it works in 2 ways. I work with you guys on an individual basis, and I work with you teaching modules, which will give you the tools you need to apply the information. The goal being that by the end of the program, you will have the full system that I've been using in my practice for the last 10 years to fully guide you to optimal health so that you know what to do today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. This is a full training guide on how to be your own nutritionist so that you never need to go to a nutritionist again and you can be your own advocate. And because I want you to be successful right away, on our first call, I will provide a meal plan for you so that you're starting from a good spot, because the only way you're going to be successful is if we're starting from the right place. And it's impossible for you to start from the right place if you don't know where that is. So that's really where my help has been the most helpful for my clients. But I also want to go into the weekly modules that we'll be covering. And every week there's a new one. And the information builds upon itself, and so that by the end you're very knowledgeable. And because I want you all to be successful and understand, I go through the work with you all to make sure that you are synthesizing it into your life properly. So week 1 is, what is constipation, why does it happen, and how it leads to disease, and how to reverse it forever. So just a more detailed version of what we've been going over today. In week 2, we go over how to remove old blockages and prevent new ones. Week 3, we cover foods to enjoy and foods you should avoid, why, and how to tell the difference. So these are all theoretical things that you'll learn that are the nuts and bolts of my program. Week 4 is very practical. We go into shopping for food, stocking a pantry, navigating food labels, menus, and social events. How to make food that tastes wonderful and that is also enjoyable as it is health supportive. And you already have seen a sample of my work at my blog, which has lots and lots of recipes on it. Everything you need to know about food combining, digestion, and eating light to heavy, and how it will free you of bloat, constipation, skin issues, and premature aging once and for all. Week 5 is demystifying colonics, enemas, and supplements, and how to use them to speed up your progress. And week 6-7 is a wrap-up discussions and a Q&A module, discussion about prior topics, and practical implementation of the cleansing model to move you forward. So that by the end of this, you have a full system that you can use day to day, just like Amy Bannock. So previously, the Eating Works Revitalization Program has been $9.97. The custom design meal plan has been $5.97. The combinations and shopping list blueprint has been $97. The guidance and support on your own journey has been $9.97. So the total value has been $2,688, which is what I've been charging. So this is worked for. Middle-aged women who suffer from premature aging and a lifetime of bowel issues. Seniors who are dealing with chronic pain and obesity. Middle-aged men who were facing a beer gut, heart disease, liver issues, obesity, and high cholesterol. And young women who have had symptoms which could not be diagnosed and therefore referred to as autoimmune disorders such as IBS, PMDD, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, migraine headaches, SIBO, infertility, etc. I have a few testimonials from these clients that I haven't gone over yet. I also didn't want to overwhelm this webinar with testimonials. I mean, I have like 30, but there's just only so much I could do. But here's another one. This client, her name is Diane Anderson. She's so sweet. When she entered my program, she was really going through a big shift in her life. She was getting a divorce. She was heavier than she wanted to be, and she was dealing with pain. She was also changing her career. She's an artist, but was working in fashion and was really looking to make a shift. So she didn't even know how she was going to pay for this program. She didn't know how she was going to implement it with her crazy schedule and her commute and the fact that she was a single mother. But she just said yes, and I was really excited that she did. So over the course of the program, she really learned all about food combining. We talked about how she could manage her commute and her food and how to healthfully feed her daughter. And as a result, I mean, you can read her testimonial here. It's a little small. But not only did she regain confidence, she lost weight. Her energy was better. Her attitude towards life improved, which helped her parenting and her work. And she successfully navigated that divorce and career change. And I'm happy to say today that she no longer is relying on laxatives or bowel cleansing. She is naturally going to the bathroom on her own and feeling amazing. I mean, just look at her skin. She's the one in the white dress. I believe she's standing next to her sister here. And she was in her mid-40s when she called me. And here's another one from a really great client in Canada, Marge. Marge was interesting. She'd already done a lot of research and knew a lot about her health. She had suffered from gastritis and chronic diarrhea. I even asked her when she signed up for the program, why are you signing up? I mean, you already know so much. But to my surprise, I was able to help her even more. I was so excited for her. She lost 15 to 20 pounds, and her gastritis went away completely, and she went from going to the bathroom 6 to 7 times a day to just 2 to 3, which is more normal and manageable for her. And here I just wanted to read her quick testimonial. She just wanted to say thank you for helping me get the IBS and especially the gastritis back under control through good, healthy way of eating, which helps healing of these issues. I am now able to actually eat and not be in pain. It feels so good. I mean, it's so sad that she had to be in pain every day. But again, just thank you for taking the time to help me, and she very much appreciates it. Thank you, Marge. Hazel Carlin. Hazel was a very fascinating client because she was a registered dietitian. Um, she's so fun. I mean, she was just about to retire and feeling like she had premature aging, feeling generally down, and she really didn't want this to ruin her retirement. She lives in a beautiful area in Canada and really wanted to feel good so that she could fully enjoy her time outside with her husband and live her best life. So I'm just going to read quickly her testimonial here because I think she puts it in her best words. She actually was a writer for a living, so she's a good writer. I sought help from Marin for a long time: IBS, bloating, fatigue, constipation, and headaches. My husband and I were making plans to retire, and I wanted to work on better bowel health for enjoying my leisure and travel time. I appreciate Marin's "we can fix this with food" approach and the way she was able to customize her suggestions to fit with some other dietary restrictions I was following for migraine control. As a break, Hazel was suffering from clockwork migraines, which means she was getting a migraine at the same exact time every day, and she was working with a program designed by a neurologist which utilized protein to stop the migraine. I explained to her that the protein was actually poisoning her and was causing the migraines in the first place, but that's another story. Here we go. I started to feel better almost immediately, with more energy, less bloating, and better bowel health, without relying on Metamucil like she had in the past. My headaches became almost non existent. I was previously having trouble sleeping through the night, which I attributed to entering my 60s. However, a most surprising benefit to my new regime was that I started sleeping through the night again, which she hadn't done in years. I mean, she was so happy about this. I also developed a new appreciation for different types of food with Marin's tantalizing recipes that are a treat to taste buds and to the eye. That's very sweet. She loves to cook. Marin was adept at tailoring and tweaking the plan as we went along each week to keep building on my success and making further improvements. She is passionate about her work, caring, easygoing, delightfully quirky, that's unfortunately true, and a joy to chat with. Healing with food and Marin was an amazing experience for me and has set me up for better health and quality of life as I head into retirement. Thanks, Marin. And I absolutely love seeing her pictures on Facebook. She's always posting, and she just looks better and better in each picture. She lost weight, was able to sleep, and most importantly, got rid of those headaches. Thanks, Hazel. So again, this is what you'll get. The Eating Works Revitalization Program has been a $9.97 value, a custom designed meal plan, which is a $5.97 value, combinations and a shopping list blueprint, $97 value, and guidance and support on your journey, which is really all my time, which is the most expensive thing, at $9.97. Again, total value, $2,600 and some change. But you're going to get bonuses. So here's a bonus: 45-minute one-on-one consultation to help you get started with the program and answer any questions you might have, which has previously been a $297 value, a separate service I've offered for those who couldn't do my program or didn't want to. But this bonus is really only for the first 15 people because I have a baby and there's just only so much time I could devote to this business. Bonus number 2, weekly group meetings to discuss progress, motivation, and Q&A. This is a $9.97 value, but I'm going to give this to the first 25 people who sign up. So again, this is repetitive, but I'm just showing you what you're getting. The Eating Works Revitalization Program, the custom designed meal plan, combinations and shopping list blueprint, guidance and support on your own journey, and then the bonus, which is a 45-minute one-on-one consultation. The second bonus, which is the weekly group meetings, which I've done in my own programs and loved, making new friends. So in total, that's almost 4,000. Oh my God. But what you're going to get. And if all this did was, one, eliminate fatigue, would it be worth it? Take away your pain and inflammation, would it be worth it? Solve your stomach pains and upsets, would it be worth it? 4, make you feel 10 years younger, would even that be worth it? Or 5, give you your life back after suffering for years, would it be worth it? I don't even think you can place a monetary amount on any of those things. I mean, how much money would you have, or will you invest in doctors? A majority of medical expenses are spent in the last year of life. I learned that in my healthcare economics class in college. Doctors are expensive, and even with health insurance, one medication or treatment alone can cost way over $1,000. When I had my daughter, my hospital bill was over $25,000, and insurance didn't even cover all of it, and I have good insurance. How much do surgeries cost? What are the costs associated with the side effects and medications of being sick? Missed work opportunities, missed time with your family. In the worst case scenario, your family could lose you due to you not taking care of your own health. This is the worst feeling to me in the world. I mean, I begged my father before he did my program, I begged him daily to take care of himself, and it is still an issue with me because I don't want to lose him, and I don't want my family to lose me. I know how hard this can be. I've watched my father, mother, grandfather, and grandfather suffer from avoidable illnesses and have been afraid of losing them every day of my life. My grandfather I did lose to a clogged heart valve. Even his doctor, his cardiologist, said that it was completely avoidable. If he had just gone to his physician earlier and discovered that he had this clogged heart valve, he could have changed his diet, or he could have even been healthy enough to get the surgery to replace the valve. No matter how much I beg and plead with them to change, ultimately their health is their own decision, but their decisions impact me and my daughter, and that's why I yell at them. And the truth is the same for you and your family. You're the only person who can decide what to do, but it's in your hands. But, it's not about you. It's about those around you, especially those of you who have children. So the old way. You may have already tried to heal yourself the old way. You go to a doctor, they can't figure out what's wrong with you, or they diagnose you and offer you medication. Maybe you feel worse on the medication than when you weren't on it from the side effects. So you go off the medication, or you go back to that doctor and they suggest more drugs, maybe a different drug, or maybe a surgery. Or then you try alternative therapies that cost a ton of money and yield no better results than your doctor could offer in the first place, leaving you back at square one, often leading you back to the medication you were on in the first place. Future health costs. I mean, if you keep going down the road you're going, what will your future health costs be? Thousands and hundreds of dollars. How will your quality of life be if your conditions continue or worsen with age? And I can't answer this for you. Only you know your individual situation. But I'm asking you to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. Think about this. So is it worth it? I mean, is it worth it to invest in yourself and take action now before it's too late? What if you could prevent and even reverse certain chronic illnesses? How much money will you save in time if you felt healthy, energetic, and continued to as you age? And how amazing would it be to not have to worry about being able to function on a day-to-day and just live and enjoy your life? I mean, would it be worth it? Other than money, the second most common objection I get to people working with me is that they don't have the time to take care of themselves because they are too busy taking care of others. Predominantly because most of my clients are women, and I myself fall into this category, but we're so busy trying to take care of everybody else that we don't take care of ourselves. But the truth is, if you're the female of your family, if you're not good, nobody's good, because you are the clock that keeps everything running, and you do need to take time to care for yourself. And just because you've had a child or because you have a job doesn't mean that your health and your happiness should be sacrificed. If anything, they should be even more important, because they are important to those around you. So you can see why this would be a great deal at just even $1,500 and $997 for the general public. But because you are watching this presentation, it's most likely because you have some sort of health concern or issue that you desperately need help with. So I would want to get started with you now for just $497. I mean, this is the price that people have been asking me for over the last year, and I just couldn't figure out a way to make it work. But after redesigning the Eating Works program and making these group calls, I've figured out how I can offer it to you for this price so that I can take on more of you guys and help more people. Because before, when I started this program, I was limited to 5 people a month. I only would work with 5, and there was a waiting list or people just couldn't afford it. And I've done about 137 consultations where people have actually said those 2 things to me, and that is exactly why I made this presentation today and why I am restructuring this program in this way. I was fighting tooth and nail, but after hearing from the general public, getting educated on people's financial situations, their time constraints, this is what I've come up with, and I'm very, very excited about it. So you have a choice. The first option, obviously, which is to do nothing and keep searching for answers for your health issues, wasting time and money trying to resolve them. The second option, take a leap of faith, make a small investment today compared to all the value you're going to get in return, and give it a chance. That's always my way. I believe in delivering big value for a small investment because I'm a people pleaser and a perfectionist. And if you find that it just isn't right for you, then just ask for your money back and you'll get it. No hard feelings. There's a 7-day guarantee. If you sign up today and for any reason at all you aren't satisfied, just let me know and I'll refund you every single dollar. No hard feelings. I really only want the right people to enter my program. So, is it worth your time? Is your health worth your time? After living in a brittle body that prevented me from fully enjoying my life for years, I mean, I had to quit riding. I got great grades in school and still graduated, but it's because I'm an overachiever, but I didn't go to graduate school at that point. I learned that my health is directly linked to how much time we get to enjoy on this earth. Our enjoyment of the earth is completely based on our ability to survive. And I learned that a lot when I was sick because I would faint a lot. And I would just be standing there talking to somebody. And all of a sudden I would just go down and lose consciousness. And that just showed me how loose my ties to my consciousness were and how linked it was to my body. And that's when I really started to respect myself and take the time to make the changes and stop making excuses. So you tell me, is your health worth the time? So what to do next? $497 today, or 2 equal payments of $297 with a money day back guarantee. Click the button below or sign up here. And there's my website and the Get Started page. I want to help you. I usually charge up to $2,500 for my program and support, but I am tired of turning people away because they can't afford it. We just went over that. And with the offer and new bonuses, I want to be able to help more people at this affordable price. Your health concerns may have put you out of work, and this has been the cause of many of the clients I've worked with. This has made my help less accessible, but now I'm able to help you get your life back together and do it on a larger scale. So again, this is so repetitive, but this is what you're going to get. The Eating Works Revitalization Program, $997 value, a custom design meal plan, which is a $597 value, combinations and shopping list blueprint, a $97 value, that's not that high, guidance and support on your journey, $997 value, bonus number 1, which is our one-on-one consultation, bonus number 2, our weekly group meeting at $997, and the consultation was $297 at a total value that's just about $4,000. Holy crap. And you might say that I'm special and that's how I got through this. I had so many issues. I'm not special. No doctor was ever able truly to help other than medication, which never completely worked and came with side effects. For a while I was on Topamax, which is a seizure medication, which caused me to have more migraines. They were just less painful, and they also slowed down my brain processing, which I noticed made me suffer in school. So I ended up not taking it. I was in pain and swollen all the time, which you could see in my face in that one picture or even on Facebook. I'm very public about my past. I tried almost everything, nothing worked. 12 doctors, different nutritionists, eating disorder therapies, traditional counseling, you name it, I did it. I spent so much money and time trying to find the right thing. So what I'm offering to you, my whole program literally saved my life and made me healthy again for almost 9 years now. It's also helped hundreds of other clients. I've helped locally and dozens I've met online, like yourself. So just give me a chance to help you. So, and if you didn't join immediately, maybe you fall under one of these 4 categories. Are you afraid that this is like everything else you've seen or tried? Are you afraid it won't work for you? Maybe you're afraid that you will need to make significant lifestyle changes that may not be possible for you? Or are you afraid you'll need to always cook and never be able to eat out again? I'd like to handle some of these objections. You can do this diet with almost never cooking. You could also do it by cooking every day. I personally cook 1 day a week and sometimes not at all. I literally turn my refrigerator into a salad bar with items that I buy from the store that I can eat. It works for any kind of work schedule. I mean, my work schedule has been anywhere from seeing 10 clients a week to 40 clients a week in person, plus online stuff, plus having a horse and a marriage and a house to take care of. So I'm very busy. And now most of my time I try to dedicate to my child. It's hard for me to tell you that it's not like everything else you've seen or tried, but it really isn't. And you do need to take a leap of faith to do this. I mean, it's not a pill, it's not a diet, it's a system of just teaching you how to utilize your own body's natural healing ability so that your body can do what it's designed to do. All I want to do is teach you how to get out of your own way. And of course, there's fear that it won't work for you, but that's where the faith comes in. I was afraid it wouldn't work for me, but I decided that I was unhappy living the life I was living, and it was either try this, stick with it, get better, or just to continue suffering. And maybe you are afraid that you will need to make significant lifestyle changes that may not work for you. But that's why I tailor the program to you as an individual. And that's why it's worked for so many people across so many cultures in so many different countries. I mean, I've worked with clients from the New York tri-state area, which is where I am based, all the way to Canada, to the UK, and beyond. And it has worked for everybody, regardless of the types of products that were available to them and their lifestyles. So again, here's the whole breakdown and the total value of $3,900, $3,982, so $3,982. The Eating Works Revitalization Program, $997 value. Custom Design Meal Plan, $597 value. Combinations and Shopping List Blueprint, a $97 value. Guidance and Support on Your Journey, which is a $997 value. Bonus number 1, the 45-minute one-on-one consultation, and bonus number 2, the weekly group meetings at $997. So here's my wrap-up slide, just in case you missed the link earlier. If you want to get started now for, again, just $497 today, or 2 equal payments of $297, again with the 7-day money-back guarantee, of course. Please click the button below the first link, which is eatingworks.com/get-started. But for those of you who want to do this on your own and feel like you really learned a lot here, which also makes me really happy, please click the second link below, which is eatingworks.com/blueprint.zip, so that you can get the free guide that I promised you all. And if any of you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'd be happy to answer any, whether it be about the guide or the program. And I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through this. I know it got a little repetitive at the end with all of those breakdown slides, but I really do hope you enjoyed it and got a lot out of this. And I'm really excited, a little nervous, very excited to offer you my program in this new way today. All right, can't wait to help start working with some of you guys, and any of your feedback would be appreciated. Feel free to even just visit my blog, eatingworks.com. If you sign up there, you'll get my recipes, which are all designed to work with my Eating Works program. All right, have a good day.